It started.
Great. Hello, I'm Autumn. I am 32. I'm from Austin, Texas. I've worked as a customer care manager for the last several years for a web-based company, and I actually left my job at the end of the year to open up a kolache shop in Brooklyn, New York. So I think that people would describe me as loud, funny, hopefully kind and vivacious. I like to laugh and I like to have fun, and I try not to take things too seriously. So life's good. So when I worked as a customer care manager for the web-based company, it was a great experience. I kind of went in with very little professional experience. It was the first real office that I had worked in. I had hospitality experience, and I learned a ton. I learned how to hire people and manage budgets and performance management, how to let people go, how to set goals and expectations, and really how to create a team and to make sure that we were meeting our goals and we were performing as expected. But it really got to a situation where I started to feel like my job actually outgrew me, which was bizarre for me because I'd never been in that situation before. But at some point I was managing a team of 40 plus people, and I had wonderful team leads who were really helping with the day-to-day, but it was becoming analytics and things that just are not my strong suit. So I really started to think about, what is it that I love to do? What did I love when I was originally a customer care rep, and what was my favorite job? And the favorite thing that I've ever done was actually when I worked and then /owned as sort of a barista at a cafe deli in Denver, Colorado. And I love people, and I love talking to them, and I love sharing with them, and I really love food and talking about food. And some people may think I'm like obsessed with food, and it very well may be true. We do talk about it a lot. But so that's sort of how I started to think about what I wanted to do next, and it kind of got the idea in my head. So since I've left my job, things have been good. We planned this. I didn't just leave all of a sudden. This is something that, I managed a huge team, so there was a lot of, talking to my employer about what they needed and what I needed and how could we get there, and setting times and finding somebody to backfill my position, or so there was a lot of planning involved, and financially on my part, I definitely made sure that we were okay. The one thing I did not plan on was that Dennis, who had very steady work the whole entire time that we've been together for almost 8 years, actually did get let go from his job because the architecture industry has been hit really badly in this economy. People aren't renovating as much and building new buildings. So so that was kind of the wild card, but he's been working projects here and there and making ends meet, and I've kind of been picking up the slack, and we're doing the best we can, and we're really comfortable right now, and I have nothing to complain about, so I feel very fortunate. So this is actually something very different than my previous experience. The things that I'm actually really nervous about is I'm not a professional baker. I'm going to hire a professional baker, but there will be times where I need to step in, and I need to be able to bake these, and I need to be able to make sure that if I were to lose this person, that things would run seamlessly. I don't really know a lot about multiplying recipes. I think that's the thing that I'm the most nervous about. I really mastered this recipe that makes 2.5 dozen kolaches using my 5-quart mixer. So what happens when I'm making, I'm tripling the recipe? How is that going to work? I just don't want to lose the consistency that I love within the pastry. I also am really nervous about managing food costs. It's not really something that is like my strong area. I did it once briefly before, and I didn't do it very successfully, so I'm a little nervous about that. So it's crazy. It's like really, really crazy that I'm doing this, and the more that I get closer to doing it, the crazier it seems, and I'm a little surprised. I'm not surprised that I took this on and I ended up here. I just think that I'm starting to like really understand the gravity of what I'm taking on, you know, opening a place in Brooklyn, and the competitiveness and the, you know, sort of gravity of the situation. So, my family has actually been extremely supportive. I think, you know, my mom and my dad have sort of seen me go through. I had a coffee shop a long time ago, actually, when I was 21. Briefly, I worked there, and then I had the opportunity to acquire it from the owner and pay like a monthly promissory payment. And that, you know, I was just really unprepared, and I wasn't able to, you know, really focus at the details and pay attention to, you know, where I was losing money and where I was making money, and I started out undercapitalized to begin with, so it was kind of a horror story, and I sold it and I got out of it and everything's okay now. But they went through that. They went through my crying and my panic and my fear, and so I think that there is some reservation on there. And for the most part, my in-laws, my siblings, everybody's been amazingly supportive. Dennis has been my 100% biggest advocate. He's like, leave your job. I'll take care of you. So, it's been great. As far as concerns, I'm concerned that it's going to be hard on Dennis. I think that saying that I'm going to be working 6 days a week is really different than me working 6 days a week. I did work a lot of hours in my other job, but I was working about, you know, 45 hours in the office, and the rest of the hours I was able to work from home, you know, on my BlackBerry. We're out to dinner, I have my laptop in the car, those types of things. So I think it might be hard for him, especially once he finds full-time work, to work 5 days a week and then have our daughter by himself 1 day a week. And I worry that it's going to cause some friction within our relationship. It hasn't, because right now, you know, we're both at the house, we're spending a lot of time together, which has been really fun. We haven't, you know, been able to like just go on happy hours and things like that since we've had Stella. So it's actually been really fun. We're both unemployed. We're working very hard on projects, but you know, at 4 o'clock it's happy hour. So I think that you know, I asked my mom to loan me some money, and I think that she took it very seriously, and I appreciate it. My brother's getting his MBA. She actually had me talk with him for several hours to just sort of make sure that I was thinking this through and I had a good plan, and that I wasn't going into it underfunded, which I am. But, you know, I'm never going to have all the money that I need to do something, and I just have to be creative and figure it out. And so that's what I'm doing. As far as getting my mom to loan me the money, it was kind of funny. She was here in town visiting. When I was growing up, she was very much a no person. And I'm sorry, Mom. But it was, you know, can I go to the mall? No. Can I get this? No. And so the kind of saying was that you go to my dad, and if he says yes, then the answer is yes. If you go to her and she says no, well, you can't go to dad and then ask, because he has to stay with no, so the answer stays no. So I was actually reading my horoscope. My mom was in town visiting. And it said, you're going to need to be a little bit more creative with the way that you're trying to make ends meet. And it said, ask somebody who always says no. So I literally got up, went into the room my mom was staying in, and asked her to loan me some money. And it paid off. And I will be able to pay her back, so I thank her for investing in me. So Dennis, I would describe Dennis as, he's very funny. He's quiet when he's around new people, but he's very smart. He's very meticulous. He's very detailed. He's very organized. He's very clean. So we're sort of the opposites. Like, I'm like big and white and loud, and he's like small and brown and quiet. but it works. So, you know, he's great. We are best friends.